I don't know, but the first thing that the people who listen to this podcast this week are going to hear is you saying logos yet.
Nice.
So I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, that's fine. We don't have
Okay.
to talk about it then. We can talk about it at the end.
No,
Give a little nugget for people.
we're nothing if not planners.
That's right.
That's right. Just down to the last minute. But we actually got on time exactly at 8:00. So that's
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
that's why I wasn't, that's why I was saying things.
Yeah, we were pretty good.
That's great.
How you doing, Craig?
I'm actually doing really well. Except I hurt a rib.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You want to share the fall story?
I'm not gonna share the fall story. I fell on the stairs and it hurt, and I landed on my back, and I thought it was just sore, but I'm pretty sure I might have either a bruised or a cracked rib. So that's nice.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling. That's not what you want.
No. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I saw one of my teams win a professional championship for the very first time in my 29 years on this earth yesterday when the Portland Timbers won MLS Cup. So I am elated. And I think I told you the feeling I had was incredible. I was overcome with emotion and joy and all of that. And I think I said, this is probably only like 1/10 of how I would feel if the Nats were to win.
Yeah, that's what you said. It was probably about 1/10 of the feeling. And then about 2 hours after the game ended, you texted me and said, yeah, if the Nats ever do, or you said when the Nats do this, it's really going to be a problem.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was a nightmare yesterday.
Yeah.
I was miserable like the entire time. I couldn't even enjoy it.
I enjoyed it. It was a really fun game, actually.
It was.
So how many of the tears were shed?
More than I'd be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Because
there were tears. And Michelle, RCTID means Rose City till I die.
Yes.
Rose City is a nickname for Portland. So
there you go.
There we go.
Yeah. So that. I must admit that it was fun to watch that game, and at the end I was a little bit jealous, but I also feel like if I did at some point pick up an MLS team that I cared about, like I feel the same way about Everton. If Everton ever finishes top of the table, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm really going to like it.
Oh,
and it's going to make me feel awesome, and I'm going to be amped about it. And, in the 38th game, I'm going to be losing my mind. But I just don't think it's going to feel like it will be when it happens in baseball. I just don't think it's even like.
I think that kind of lends itself to just the way the season is structured. I mean, with soccer, you get 1, maybe 2 games a week for the 7-8 months of the season, and then baseball, it's every single day. It's such a huge commitment to be a diehard fan of baseball as opposed to a sport like soccer or NFL or college football or anything like that, just because the frequency of games is just so fast paced.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when we all have to deal with that at some point, and hopefully the fairly near future.
Yeah, it was. I was miserable, so I know exactly what I'm going to be like.
Yeah, it's going to be so much worse.
It's going to be so much worse.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm pretty darn happy. I already bought my Champions scarf, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Got to do it. That's must purchase stuff there.
Yeah.
So on to baseball. We'll talk. We're going to talk about obviously winter meeting stuff. There, as of this point, the Nationals have only made one move, and it's significant, but not as significant as most people would like. But we'll get into that when we hit the bullpen section. The first thing that we want to cover, and we want to hit it early on because news is continuously moving on Ben Zobrist as we are currently recording this show. So those of you who are not listening live, you should in the future because it might be old news by the time you listen. Because these situations tend to happen fluidly. So. The rumor out there is that it doesn't seem like he's going to be Zobrist will be as interested in going to the Giants anymore because the Giants really don't have a place for him in the infield, and he wants to play at second base, which understandable. That's probably his strongest position. So most people say the suitors, the 2 main suitors remaining are the Nationals and the Mets, which makes sense because they both have fairly significant gaps up the middle of their infield. So with Ian Desmond obviously departing for the Nationals and Daniel Murphy departing for the Mets. So if the Nationals were to sign Ben Zobrist, it looks like it's almost a guarantee for a 4-year deal. If the Nationals sign him to a 4-year deal, is there any way it's not a bad deal?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Although I must say that that Nats 101 has challenged us to make an argument for it, so we probably need to do that at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how it could possibly be a good deal for the Nationals. Ben Zobrist entering his age 35 season. Already still a very good baseball player, but already on a career decline.
Very much so. I mean, his body's been through so much, playing so many different positions.
Yeah. He's already started to decline defensively. The offense is going down a little bit, and it will continue to get worse. It's hard to see a justification for signing a 35-year-old infielder to a 4-year deal.
Yeah, 35-year-old utility guy. When the Nationals actually happen to have, we mentioned it before, Danny Espinosa has the ability to play 3 infield positions and can dabble a little bit in the outfield.
Yeah.
And he's a much better defender in the middle of the infield than Ben Zobrist. And, oh, by the way, he's still under team control. Yeah,
and I think if the Nationals don't make a move, that Danny Espinosa is going to be the Nationals' starting shortstop this year. But I get the idea around Zobrist. You could do a lot worse in the middle infield than Ben Zobrist. But I just can't see a way to justify something like 4 years and $60 million for this guy.
No, I can't at all.
I could see making this deal a couple of years ago, but this is his problem. He came up at such an old age and kind of came in because, Joe Madden realized his potential, basically. But, I mean, you feel bad for the guy. He's going to get paid. I just don't know that I want to see that paycheck coming from the Nationals.
No, not at all. I don't want to see it. And here's the thing. For the first 2 years, it's going to be a decent deal,
Exactly.
$15 million or 16, whatever the case may be, somewhere around there. It's going to be a pretty decent deal for 2 years. And he's just going to rapidly decline. And it's going to, in years 3 and 4, it's going to be a bad deal. So the hope is, if they do sign him to, if the Nationals do sign him to a 4-year contract, that they get what they need out of him for 2 years and then put up with him for the rest. I mean, if the Nationals were to go on and sign him to a 4-year deal and win the World Series in the next 2 years with him as a valuable piece, and then he's the worst player in baseball for 2 years, it's worth it.
Absolutely. And I think that's the overall point. If they're able to get what they need from him, then it's not a bad deal. It's the same thing with Max Scherzer. It's the same thing with Jason Worth. Jason Worth's deal, no matter what happens going forward, was worthwhile. He did what he was asked to for the first 5 years of the deal. So what you expect for the last 2 years, you could expect anything you want. I think he's still going to be a valuable piece, and I know you're listening, Beard, what's going on? But it's, he's not going to be as valuable at the end of the contract as he was at the beginning of the contract. When you sign a 7-year deal for a 30-year-old player, that's going to be the case. But the Nationals got their money's worth out of Worth, especially when you look at the way the contracts have exploded. Same deal with Scherzer. That at the end of the Scherzer deal, which is also a 7-year deal, he's not going to be as valuable as he was in his 2 no-hitter 5th in Cy Young season.
Yes.
But that's you know that anytime you sign a long-term deal. And so it's going to be a calculated risk for the Nationals. Now, so we don't get too far off the point here. As far as weighted runs created plus, Ben Zobrist's 2015 season has been has been his most valuable season of his last 3 seasons. So he still has the opportunity for the next couple of years to be a positive offensive player. And I want to make sure that that's totally clear.
Absolutely.
You have to make sure that the end of the deal is going to be bad. And the more the Nationals make these kinds of longer term deals, the more that they hamstring themselves at the back end of those deals to make the kind of moves that they want to be able to make to continue to be competitive. As we always say, to kind of be the Cardinals of baseball, where you win 90-ish games and you make the playoffs every single year, which is what Mike Rizzo said he wants to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what you want to see.
So, yeah, I don't see a way where it's not a tough deal to make. If he ends up signing in DC, am I going to be disappointed? I am not.
No,
But
he's a good player. It's a big ask to get that fourth year in there. And you know what? If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes, and we'll just have to live with it. But
which
trades can always happen.
Trades can always happen, and you could make deals that are friendly in that situation. But speaking of giving a player a fourth-year deal to get him to play for you, Darren O'Day.
Yes.
So the rumor the other day was that Darren O'Day was headed to Baltimore, and then lots and lots of people said, hold the phone, including Darren O'Day. Said, hold the phone. Even, Orioles GM Dan Duquette said, actually, hold on, like this isn't a done. We'd obviously like him to play for us, but this is not a deal. And the rumor was that the Orioles were willing to give a fourth year while the Nationals were not.
Right.
And then immediately after the Darren O'Day deal was announced, even though it wasn't done, Ryan Madson signed for 3 years and $22 million. Ryan Madson, who missed basically 3 straight seasons of Major League Baseball in recent history due to injury.
He missed 2012, 13, and 14.
So, and then came back and had a nice year last season.
Had a decent year, yeah, for sure.
But, track record does not indicate health.
Right.
So if Ryan Madson, who has not been healthy, signs a 3-year, $22 million deal, did that announcement in any way change that move? Do you think that had any influence?
On the fact that O'Day hasn't finished
that it's not done yet.
I really don't think it's probably made too much difference.
Yeah.
Especially since he's getting that fourth year. I don't think it's made too much of a difference because your market is only what someone's willing to pay you. And for all we know, the next highest offer for Madson was 2 and 10,
Right.
So someone could have just went a little crazy and, shot the moon for him just to get the player they wanted. But, the market is what someone's willing to pay you. And if he's holding out for more money, he's holding out for more money. Honestly, I would have no problem with 4 and 36 for Darren O'Day. He's been the best reliever in baseball for years.
Totally agree. And the history of signing relievers to 4-year deals are not good.
Not good at all.
But it's the same conversation. This is a thing that the Nationals need desperately, and they need it right now.
Much more than Ben Zobrist.
Like so much more than Ben Zobrist. So in order to get a guy like O'Day, who has been one of the more steady relievers in baseball over the last couple of years, and you have to pay that extra year to do that. And if nothing else, hopefully the Nationals see, man, if Ryan Madson's getting that, they obviously know the market better than we do by a lot. But hopefully you look at that and say, yeah, the market is dwindling significantly. Most of the free agent people that we were talking about signing have already signed from the market.
And most of the trade chips have been traded.
Exactly. At least, maybe. Yeah. So it will be very interesting to see if it ends up being that O'Day signs somewhere else. I would still bet money on O'Day ending up in Baltimore.
Oh, me as well.
But it's just interesting that with the, nobody after the initial reports came out said that it was definitely a done deal.
Right. And that was yesterday.
And that was yesterday, and nothing has changed since then.
Yeah. So O'Day is a phenomenal reliever. He would look great in DC. He was definitely a target that you and I have both talked about leading into the hot stove season.
Yes.
And it's a shame that it looks like the Nationals aren't going to be able to get that player. But there's still reliever arms out there available for trade, free agents. Right now, we're looking at a situation with Ben Zobrist and Darren O'Day where these were the first dominoes that had to fall.
Right.
As soon as these contracts are done, whatever they may be, there is going to be a waterfall of moves because people were waiting to see, where these players were going, what type of money we're looking at, all that kind of stuff before the rest of the dominoes can fall. The rest of the trade chips can get out there. The free agent pieces.
Right. And sorry, God. I'm on my wrong screen. I'm doing research and
That's okay. Just real quick, if you're interacting with us on Twitter tonight, we love you very much and we thank you. Please go to our new Twitter account, our show page at Nats Talk on the Go on Twitter. So most of you are probably already there, but in case anyone, isn't, we have a joint page where you can send in all your questions, anything like that. It's now at Nats Talk on the Go on Twitter. So there you go.
Yes, Craig finally made that thing happen that should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, we're really good at stuff.
Yes. But one move that the Nationals have made in the bullpen this year is grabbing Oliver Perez, the left-handed reliever who was a starter for the Mets, actually pitched a year in the minor leagues with the Nationals.
Yes, back in the old Capital Baseball days.
Yes.
I remember I did Ollie Watch.
Yeah, Ollie Watch. That's so funny. I totally missed that.
I miss doing it because, man, he was coming back from huge surgeries. And
well, now you can bring Ollie Watch back because he signed a 2-year deal with the Nationals. I really like the deal.
You do?
I do. I think that a left-handed guy, he's been extremely effective against left-handed pitching. Or left-handed hitting, during his time. The Nationals did not have anybody to fill that role because Felipe Rivero is probably going to be a late inning guy. So you're not going to save him to only face lefties, although you might skew it a little bit and have him face more lefties. So I think having an extra left-handed guy in the bullpen with some experience who could pitch more than an inning, again, if he could ever figure out against right-handed. But really, he's a left-handed guy, and the Nats need that. And it's cheap.
It is cheap.
And I like it.
Is it cheap or is it inexpensive?
Maybe a little cheap.
Yeah, I would say it's a little cheap.
Yeah.
His numbers do not excite me at all. Looking at it. This year he had a 99 ERA plus. That is as league average as you can get.
Yeah.
He was 4.17 ERA, 1.3 WHIP, which you do not want to see out of a bullpen arm.
Yeah, but
4 home runs in 41 innings.
11.2 strikeouts per 9, though.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Hopefully that continues, and hopefully his arm, doesn't fall off.
But his walk rate was very high, but it was also below career average. Now, that includes his starting numbers, so right. I don't have the splits in front of me. But
it's an interesting signing for sure.
It's an interesting signing. I'm not saying I love it. I'm not saying that I am in love with it. But I did like the trade, or the signing, And I do think that it'll be good to have a guy kind of who's been in the league for a while, and the Nationals are going to need help. And I think that a guy like Perez in there could provide some of that. Like I said, he's no Aroldis Chapman.
Do you think it's interesting that he got 2 years?
No, because market.
Yeah, because market. But man,
if it wasn't for the market, yes, it would surprise me. But he's had 4 straight positive WAR seasons from the bullpen.
Yeah.
He's never struck out more than or less than 11 per 9 in the last 3 seasons. He's striking out a lot of guys. His FIP is pretty low, is in the low 3s. I think it's a good cheap signing. It's cheap though. It's cheap. If it's because the Nationals are going to spend a lot of money, then on something else, then I'm cool with it. If it's because they're just being cheap, then that's less cool. But
so what do you see his role as being?
I think he's going to be a loogie.
He's strictly a loogie.
Loogie.
Okay.
They've got a much better lefty to do the other things.
Yes.
So I think he's just going to be a loogie. I don't see any reason why not. And honestly, a little insurance. Felipe Rivero was a rookie last year. If he comes in and he has that sophomore slump, they're not stuck with no lefties in the bullpen. They have another guy in there that could fill the role of lefties while Rivero goes back down and figures everything else out. So I think it's kind of twofold a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a good piece to have. I'm not blown away by it. It's something.
I mean, it's
And
not exciting. There's
right.
nothing exciting about it.
And in a hot stove season so far that has been no good news for the Nationals.
Yes, it's been bad.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and you just have to. I don't know. You got to look at what's out there, and there aren't that many better options that you could have gotten for that cost. And so, it was a cost benefit analysis, and whether or not that works out well is a whole other thing. So,
Nice.
Sticking in the bullpen.
I love sticking in the bullpen.
Sticking right there. A guy that I think a lot of Nationals fans hope will not stick in the bullpen. Jonathan Papelbon.
Oh boy.
So that conversation has to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jonathan Papelbon. For those of you that did not see, he officially filed a grievance against the Washington Nationals for his team issued, I believe it was 2-game suspension.
Yeah.
At the end of last season, which the team handed down when he choked Bryce Harper in the dugout in the middle of a game. And essentially the grievance is saying, you can't suspend me without pay because no one's ever been suspended without pay for choking their teammate before.
That's pretty much it.
So there's no precedent to suspend without pay in that instance. It is legal jargon. There is a lot of talk about this is a players' union thing. The players' union often files these grievances on behalf of the player just to protect themselves in the future for other instances, just to make sure due process happens.
Yeah.
So I understand it. I know there was, why is this coming out now? Blah, blah. Well, it's coming out now. The grievance was filed 2 days after he was suspended. It's coming out now. That's pretty much it. But in terms of precedent, I don't know if there is a precedent for suspending without pay. If there isn't, I'm not exactly sure, but
yeah, I'm not either.
I understand it from a legal and a business and a union perspective. I mean, the guy's an absolute prick, and no one likes him.
Yeah.
No one on the team wants him still there, and apparently, no one wants to take him in a trade. But I think that he has a good chance to win the grievance.
I don't see how he doesn't win the grievance.
Yeah.
If there's not anything in, and there are actual lawyers who listen to this podcast, so I could be totally off base here, but if there's nothing actually in the collective bargaining agreement that has something about, choking out your teammate, then there's no precedent for this, and a team just can't suspend a player without, a league sanctioned reason and not pay him. So you got to pay him.
And apparently it was a 4-game team suspension. Thank you, Jen.
It was a 4-game team suspension. Way to go, Jen. You have to pay him the money unless there's something in the collective bargaining agreement that says that you don't have to.
Yeah, but I expect him to win the grievance. It's something that has to be done. It's a technicality. It's more of a symbol from the front office saying, we don't condone this, and you're going to have to pry it from our cold, dead fingers.
Yeah, and I
want that.
And I honestly don't think as much as Papelbon is, as you said, a prick, and no one wants him to be on the team. Fans, probably, by all accounts, some players. There is. I don't have a problem with anybody here. This is procedural.
Yep.
This is just a thing that you do.
This is legal shenanigans that no one cares about, so we should stop talking about it.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, it's yes. Any other winter meetings nuggets that you want to talk about? Because we have like a laundry list of awesome listener questions that we should talk about.
We should. I want to talk about Chapman a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Real quick, I don't think I really got your opinion outside of a few texts here and there. Zach Greinke to Arizona?
Yeah, that's so crazy.
For all of the money?
Yeah. So my favorite thing about this time of year is #mystery team. The mystery team is the best thing in the whole world, and the Diamondbacks are we're the mystery team and getting Zach Greinke for just, as you said, all of the money.
All of it.
Does it surprise me that he will be the highest annual average value in baseball? Like, not at all. He's extremely good and deserves every penny. Does it surprise me that it's coming from the Arizona Diamondbacks? Yeah.
Yeah.
They came out of nowhere, and by all accounts, they're not done, and they're actually trying to put together a competent team, which is weird because they haven't been a competent team in a while. So,
yeah.
I saw somebody, I think it was Cespedes Family Barbecue on Twitter, who tweeted out something earlier that just basically tweeted a picture of a sad-looking person in the snow, and said Rockies right now. And it's so true, because the NL West is actually going to be pretty competitive, and then the Rockies are like, hey, we're still here. It's going to be pretty sad.
We have Jose Reyes, who got arrested.
Yeah, for being a really bad person.
Yep. So that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, do you have any thoughts beyond it besides that?
I think the only team I would have been more shocked would be like the Rays.
Yeah, right. Because they spend like $20 million a year.
No, it's really interesting, and this kind of ties into the Nationals a little bit, in that the reason why the Diamondbacks can do this is because of TV money.
Yes.
Which the Nationals do not have
any of.
So it's going to make things really interesting.
Even some of the money they were getting, got taken away. So
Zach Greinke is an interesting guy. Everyone knows the stories about how weird he is. I don't know if it's an ego thing. He didn't want to be second fiddle to Kershaw and be his own guy. I don't know. I have no idea what his motivations were, but I do know that Tony La Russa is very strong in the front office, and he is a very cerebral baseball mind, as is Zach Greinke.
I was going to say both of them are.
So that fit works.
It totally works.
So it'll be interesting to see, but that came out of nowhere.
And he is as acey as an ace gets.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you want to talk about it, he's going to be a good number one pitcher for that team.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yes. And then Aroldis Chapman. This story has been evolving throughout the day in a very, very strange way. And so once again, if you're listening, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 years from now, you're going to know a lot more than we are, than we do right now. It broke earlier today that Aroldis Chapman was being traded from the Reds to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And that the Dodgers were not going to be giving up any of their big-time prospects.
And planned on keeping their own pretty good closer in Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, they're really good closer. I want to say that between the two of them, they own two of the top 3 K through 9s in baseball history.
Yeah, they struck out a lot of batters.
Yeah, so that doesn't suck. So that looked to be more of a done deal, and it has come out in the last couple hours that the Dodgers leaked the information a little bit early to try and grease the wheels on another move.
Yeah, because it seems like all of the he's definitely going there is now similar to the O'Day situation. Like,
I don't know. I think this one is a little bit more waffly.
Oh, yeah, I think that between the two of them, I think it's much more likely that O'Day ends up in Baltimore than Chapman ends up in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah. So there's talk of a third team, or people keep saying multiple teams, and here's the deal: multiple teams is 2. 2 is multiple teams. People, specify. You're killing me. English language. Okay.
What these people are talking about is a team orgy.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about.
They're talking Rizzo Dark 30 Souza style.
Yes. 3, 4, or, Rizzo Dark 30 Gio Gonzalez style, or Rizzo Dark 30 not the Gio trade. That was that was a 3-team deal, wasn't it? Wasn't Houston involved in that?
That was so long ago, dude.
Yeah. And then I don't know. Mike Morse was too. But anyway.
Yeah. Continue. So it's interesting to see how this is going to evolve. I do see Chapman ending up in LA, but I have a lot more doubt now than I did earlier. Who knows what could happen? I don't know if the Reds are pissed off. I know there's a great connection with Dusty Baker in DC.
Yeah.
So who knows? I know the Nationals have been in on him, according to all the big wig sports writers. So who knows?
It would be interesting when you saw what the Dodgers reportedly were going to give up in prospects to get him. It would shock me that the Nationals wouldn't be in on getting him for that amount.
Yeah, to pony up that for a 1-year rental, but even if you don't sign him, you're getting him before the season, and so you would get you could offer the qualifying offer and
Exactly.
draft pick compensation, all that kind of stuff. So.
Exactly. So you're getting something out of him. Plus, it wasn't terribly prospect expensive.
It wasn't expensive at all. So
it was none of their top prospects. They're very, very top prospects.
It will be very interesting to see what happens with that move and whether the Dodgers are able to finalize that deal or whether the Reds are just a little bit too pissed off right now.
Yeah. There are egos in baseball. And so, you don't, and this is just an aside. Part of me wonders if at some point the egos in baseball are causing part of Mike Rizzo not being able to Rizzo Dark 30 quite as much, because the rumor's out and he's made so many GMs look bad.
Right. And it's very interesting. It seems like we're reaching a breaking point in news, in sports news. We've talked a lot about how everyone tries to be first.
Yeah, right.
And that it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're right, you just got to be first. And so we're seeing with O'Day, we're seeing with this Chapman news, that these things are being put out there by sports writers, by legitimate sports writers, when it's not actually a done deal.
Right.
So
it reminds me of back in I'm going to throw you back to a Sports Night reference.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Lay it on me. Just
let
it wash.
On the trade deadline when Natalie's trying to get the deal, and they're like we're not going with it till we have the second source.
The hotel in Vero Beach.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a second source in sports anymore. They hear a rumor and it's on Twitter immediately, and that's social media. That's the only way it works. But as a result, and like you said, people first, and that gets you and your organization out there.
Basically, sports writers are internet commenters.
Yeah, exactly. With a lot of inside information.
Yes.
But sometimes that inside information is wrong. So it will be interesting to see how that kind of evolves over the years. But it does seem like the inaccurate reports on social media are becoming more frequent.
For that, Joe, you get scotch in my office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Good puller references. If you've never watched Sports Night, you probably should.
Yeah, you really should. What are you waiting for?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, very nice.
There you go.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. Real quick aside on First and Whole Twitter announcing. I want everyone to go and follow at SportsCenter, ESPN SportsCenter.
Oh God. Why?
Because whenever something breaks, say Ken Rosenthal breaks news, so-and-so signing with so-and-so, SportsCenter will tweet immediately, and instead of citing Ken Rosenthal, they will just say sources.
Huh. Nice.
Or they will credit one of their own people who hasn't actually done anything.
Nice.
It's amazing.
It's
like clockwork.
It's very ESPN.
Oh my gosh, they will not credit anyone from outside of the family.
Yeah, that's hashtag sources.
Yeah,
it's the same source that everybody else has. It's Twitter.
Exactly. It's Ken Rosenthal.
Yes, who is everybody's source, except for that one time when it's Jason Stark. But other than that, it's always
or that one time when it was a 15-year-old kid named Chris Cotillo.
Yeah, who's still doing things apparently.
Yeah. So anyway, quick aside. Now over.
Yeah, well, it was a good aside.
I liked it.
We have close to a dozen questions.
Oh my gosh.
We've got a lot of them. So we're just going to try and go through them. I tried to keep them in some sort of order when they're put in, but we're probably going to skip around a little bit based on what we talked about and what we haven't talked about. So the thing we haven't talked about at all is from our friend Jen, who we've mentioned a couple of times. She wants to know who the Nets' new leadoff hitter is going to be.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
I don't have an answer either. Yeah.
I based when you think about the lineup and you think about everything that's going on, I don't think he's on the team yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on the team yet.
So you think it's
Anthony Rendon?
you think it's Jimmy Rollins?
No, I think it might be Ben Zobrist.
Nice.
I think there's a legitimate chance that Ben Zobrist ends up as a national. I think that it's going to be a culmination of things, not getting anybody in the bullpen that they want, and they feel like they need to make a move for somebody, and that's the other major need is a middle infielder. And so I think there's a legitimate chance that it ends up being Ben Zobrist. So if Ben Zobrist's on the team, maybe Ben Zobrist, even though he's not a really great leadoff hitter. I mean, great on base percentage guy, so it makes him a great leadoff hitter. Or Rendon maybe. I mean,
yeah, Rendon's the only other option because you don't want to see someone like Michael A. Taylor.
Yeah, no, it's not a viable option.
Who honestly, like, body and skill set, or at least physical tools, it should be Michael Taylor. But when it comes to actual baseball tools, not so much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's kind of the point. Speaking of Taylor, Fang wants to know if Michael A. Taylor isn't ready.
Transitions.
Yes, if Michael A. Taylor isn't ready, who starts in center field?
Who starts in center field?
And how does that come about? I guess I'm gonna two-part it. How does that come about if he's not ready? Like, what do the Nationals do?
Well, honestly, Bryce Harper would probably be the front runner to start there.
Yeah.
Depending on if the Nationals get someone.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, D-Span.
I know.
Want you back. Miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
He's a big listener of the podcast, just so you know.
Yes.
Big fan.
Big fan. GFOP.
Yes, exactly. Very good. I love it.
I'm referencing everywhere today.
I just love it. So I think it's going to be Taylor. I really don't think that's going to be in too much question unless there's an outside signing.
Yeah. The only way it's not Taylor starting in center field on opening day is A, injury, or B, Jason Hayward or Alex Gordon. I mean, like, that's the only way that's not the way that happens, I think.
Yeah.
Because the thought, as much as I'd love it, like, Denard Span's not coming back to DC.
No, he's not. I'm surprised. I haven't heard many rumors about Span.
I'm not all that surprised yet.
He'll be a late sign.
He's going to be a late sign.
He's not sexy enough.
He's got to prove that his health is right after all the surgeries. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me because he's still, I know he's been tweeting feeling good or whatever, but he's still getting ready. Right. So that doesn't surprise me yet. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think Michael A. Taylor is the starting center fielder.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah, unfortunately, but nonetheless.
Beard is doing rhymes right now. It's
seashells sell seashells.
I can't do it. I will fall over myself.
Yeah, I could see saying something pretty inappropriate.
Nice.
Trying to put all that together.
You can't even say what you wanted to say about it because blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, just blah, blah.
Okay.
So sticking with position players, Jen also wants to know, and this is a rumor that's going around. Apparently, the Brewers are quote unquote listening on Lucroy, Jonathan Lucroy.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I would love to have Jonathan Lucroy in the Curly W. I think he is exactly what the Nationals need behind the plate.
Yeah.
Not only because he's coming off of a down year.
Yeah.
But I think last year, not this previous season, but in 2014, he put up like a 6 WAR or something crazy like that.
6.1.
There we go. He had a phenomenal year. He had something around a 1 this year.
Yeah, 1.1.
I think he is the kind of guy. His value's low. Ramos could use a little bit of a push.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not going to say I totally agree. I'm going to say I think the down year thing makes it very attractive.
Yes,
because
he's affordable.
He's the fact that he's a catcher that in 2 years has hit above 300 and provides stellar defense and has the opportunity to put up a 6 WAR in a season is extremely valuable. And he's coming, like you said, coming off a down year. So it's going to be affordable to get him. Plus he's under club control for 2 more years for like less than $10 million. So all of those things I really, really like about him. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not sure how it works because Ramos is also coming down off of a down year. But if you make that move and you find it valuable, I don't know. It's definitely a defensive upgrade. And even if he has his quote unquote down year, Lucro's down year, it was better than Ramos's down year.
Yes.
And so,
Ramos has just never been able to put it together, and he's been made of candy glass.
yeah, the injuries have killed him. That's unfortunately been his issue. So he seems like a stand-up guy, and he, has flashes of brilliance behind the plate and at the plate. But Lucroy is a better long-term option there.
I agree.
And he's there for 2 more years. So it'd be really cool to see if the Nationals could snap up a guy like that. But I don't think it's based. I don't want to see the Nationals compensating in other areas for not getting done what they wanted to get done, which was build a real bullpen.
Yeah.
And I worry that could end up happening.
Yeah.
So like the Zobrist thing, and then Lucroy, and then whatever. So that's my only thing. Now I'd be thrilled to have him. So if it ends up happening, I'd be pretty happy about that. I don't see it as likely because I think there are a lot more things that they want to get done.
I think there are a lot more things they want to get done, and I think there are a lot more teams that need a catcher that isn't terrible. And as much as we're kind of down talking Wilson Ramos, when he's healthy, he can carry a lineup.
Absolutely, and he did. He's done that. So, yeah, I agree. And Will asks, while we are not too far off the topic, and this is something that I didn't think of because I don't think he's going to be on opening day roster, but Trey Turner for leadoff hitter. And that would be a very good option because he's high contact and
he's a hitter.
Very fast.
He's a hitter.
So that would be a really good option, but I don't think he's going to be on the opening day roster. I think he still needs at-bats.
I think he's on the opening day roster, but I don't think he's leadoff.
I
think he'll be leadoff not long into the season.
So you think he's starting opening day?
I do.
Oh, wow. Shortstop?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that would be very surprising to me. And this is something that we disagree about, which doesn't happen all that often.
Oh, hey. There's your oddly loving.
Yeah. I saw the oddly loving, and I was like, we've got to disagree on something.
That's right. No, I see. I see. I mean, I still don't think I don't think Zobrist is coming, and I think it's going to be Trey Turner at short, Rendon at third, and Espinosa or Unell.
Well, so breaking news on the pod here. Michelle just tweeted us. Darren O'Day and O's have officially agreed to the deal.
Oh, there it is.
$31 million. Pending physical, but all else done.
4 years, 31?
431. So exactly what it was reported.
Yeah, okay.
So there goes that piece, ladies and gentlemen. There goes that outside hope. Yeah, so staying in the in this front, Nats fan 9, our friend Jonathan asks, most likely to report to spring training. Yunel Escobar, Jonathan Papelbon, Drew Story.
Most likely to report?
To spring training.
To spring training. Oh, I hate saying it, but it's Jonathan Papelbon.
I know it is. It's shocking. I completely agree. I mean, just so we could have a different answer here, I will pick Escobar.
Yeah.
Just because, there's a chance that he sticks around. If
you know what? I would love it if I want him to stick around. I don't want him going anywhere.
What, Escobar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I thought he was phenomenal last year. I thought he was an unsung hero.
As long as he's playing second base.
Yes.
I do not want him to play shortstop.
No, or third.
Well, that's not. I think that's gone. My worry is there's an opening at shortstop.
Who actually knows things now.
Yeah. So there's no. I don't think there's any way. And even Mike Rizzo said, like Anthony Rendon's he's already said he's the third baseman.
Good.
So I mean, I will say Yunel just to be different, and then one of us could be right because Drew is definitely gone.
Yeah. I've heard Astros are a good landing point for him.
Literally any team would be stupid to not pursue.
That's true.
Any team that needs a late inning reliever would be stupid to not consider it. That's just the way it is. Okay.
I want him to go somewhere where there's already a closer and he has to the other closer gets mad. I think that would be funny.
Oh God, that would be kind of like what happened in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and kind of like what's happened to him 3 times.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
So, friend of the pod, Kit asks,
Hey.
what are the odds of getting Andrew Miller?
I don't know. The odds are there. Is this Andrew Miller? Are we talking, or are we talking
Andrew Miller,
Shelby?
yeah.
Are we talking Shelby Miller?
No, Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller. Okay, because I know the
Like,
Braves are shopping Shelby Miller too.
no, Andrew Miller.
Okay.
The reliever.
Okay. Yeah, they're looking to get rid of him for some reason.
Yeah, just like they DFA'd Matt Thornton, and that turned out well for the Nationals.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're doing up
Yeah.
there in the Bronx.
It's interesting. He's under club control for a long time, which Mike Rizzo will like.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. He's got 3 more years of club control for exactly what they would have likely had to offer. Well, maybe not. A little less than would have had to. A little more than they would have had to offer O'Day. 4 years, 36. But there's only 3
Right.
years left. There's only 3 years left on it.
Yeah.
So you're getting a 3-year deal for a 30-year-old, very, very, very good reliever, who strikes out everybody. It would be very interesting. I think that the odds are extremely low.
Yeah.
I just don't see a deal between the Nats and the Yankees being made. So I don't know. I see the odds are low.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything would be nice when you're talking bullpen arm.
Yeah.
I'll just say yes. Bring them all. ICANN has relievers.
So one thing that we haven't talked about at all, actually, and which reminded me, I was thinking about this since we're talking about bullpen relievers. We haven't said one guy's name that, and there was not a single question about this guy from the Nats faithful, and that's surprising.
Craig Stammen.
No.
What?
Tyler Clippard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tyler Clippard being a free agent. I was going the free agent route, but we do have to talk about Stammen too.
Okay. Yeah. Tyler Clippard, free agent, obviously good fit here in DC. If Tyler Clippard comes, Drew Storen's probably staying.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's a really good point. That's a good point. I am not in favor of a Clippard reunion.
I am not either. His fly ball ratios are not pleasant anymore,
and they've gotten worse.
Yes.
So, and they weren't good when he was here.
No.
And so, love the guy. When he's good, he's great. He's just what the Nationals are trying to do. I hope to build a bullpen is get some consistency.
He'll get paid by someone. He'll get paid by someone.
Rightly slow. Rightly so.
Rightly slow.
Rightly slow. Rightly slow. I don't say words so good sometimes.
Nope.
But yeah, Craig Stammen also. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing.
It's surprising to me that it happened, and I said as much on Twitter when it did that Craig Stammen was non-tendered. But we don't have all the information,
right?
And I think that's the ultimate case of just not having all the information.
Yeah,
I think there had for that to happen. There had with the Nationals trying to rebuild a bullpen and have one of your more reliable arms there. They're not that stupid. There had to be a medical issue.
Yeah,
there just had to be. They made some stupid moves, but there had to be a medical issue.
I hope so. I mean, I don't hope so because I want him to be healthy and pitching.
Right. But otherwise, there's no reason for the Nationals to have let him go.
Yeah, and it sounds like they were, $600,000 apart?
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of money for an injured guy.
Yeah.
But
they've spent a lot more on other injured guys.
On, a lot less reliable injured guys. Like,
yes.
See Chin-Ming Wong.
Nate McLouth.
Yeah, we can go down a list.
Do you remember Nate McLouth? How he signed a 2-year deal, and did he play?
Yeah, he actually played like 100 games.
Seriously?
Yeah, I know. I was shocked too.
No way.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Yeah, because I was like, he played like 10 games, and then I looked it up. I was like, oh, he actually played some. So I was wrong. 79.
Okay.
It's still half a season.
A lot more than I thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I was surprised about that, but it could also point to the Nationals really wanting a changing of the guard, but you can't do that and then also have Jonathan Papelbon and Drew Storen on your team. So
exactly.
I don't know. There's a lot of mixed messages, and I don't think we're going to really know what the answer is until March. So I don't think we'll even know this week.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, it's going to be the hot stove is cooking, as it were. Because
it's a stove.
And
you you have to have it hot for things to
You,
cook.
you see how that works.
Yeah,
You'll see how that works.
I got it.
And our dear friend and colleague Andrew Flax asked a question
dear
as
friend.
well. If the Nats lose out on Zobrist and trade Escobar, will they make a move for Neil Walker?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Neil Walker's fine, but he's a 1.5 WAR player, or excuse me, what, 2 WAR player,
Two and a
maybe
half.
2.5 WAR player
Yeah.
every year. He's not going to give you anything more. He's not going to give you anything less.
Yeah. He doesn't provide you that much defense.
He would be a bench player.
Yeah, I agree, and probably a kind of expensive one.
Yeah.
As far as prospects go,
Right.
Not like top prospect expensive, but more than you'd want to give up for a year of Neil Walker.
Yes.
That's my thought process on it. But that is my cheap pitch into on the natsblog.com. Andrew has an infield preview for the Washington Nationals that you should check out, and he will answer those questions for you as well.
He's done a lot of previews,
and they've all been
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not speaking from bias, but
I probably am, but that's okay. Yeah. You should read it anyway.
You totally should. You totally should. Any other interesting things that you want to talk about? I know you have a favorite question about favorite things.
I do have a question,
but I didn't know if there's any more baseball-y things that you wanted to hit on before.
Did we do the list and stuff?
We did the list and stuff. I'm good.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
We hit all the questions?
Yeah.
Oh wow, we rocked it pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple that we kind of already hit on what we were talking.
All right. Well, there we go. Yeah, I have a question I want to put out there for you and for Twitter, and I don't have an answer, so whatever. What is your favorite baseball-related gift that you've ever received? It doesn't have to be Nat specific, anything. Just through your entire childhood till now, what's the best baseball-related thing that you've received for Hanukkah, Christmas, anything?
I don't have an answer to that question, so why don't you give me yours and talk about it for a second?
I just told you I didn't have one.
Oh, God. I don't have one.
This is like an interactive one for the people.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of gifts that I've got. I mean, I've gotten so many really good. I have an answer, actually.
Oh, good. There we go.
My customized and personalized Washington Nationals 2015 jersey that I got from the organization.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
That is the best Washington Nationals gift I've ever received.
That's cool.
That is a very, very cool one. That I am sitting and looking at in my office as we speak. So yeah, that is definitely mine. I mean, there might be. I'm sure there are other ones that were very good. And if anybody who's listening to this podcast got me any of those gifts, I do apologize. But this is me on the spot and looking right at that jersey and thinking that is the answer.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's a very, very good one.
Yeah, I definitely don't have one.
No, nothing.
No, I mean, I'm sure I'll think of one eventually, and
you'll have to report back.
I will report back, but it's the season. I know I'm looking at gifts to buy people and everything, and I just was curious what other people will say. Hey, my dad got me tickets to opening day when I was 7.
Yeah,
something like that.
Those are the cool stories that you love to hear. I love hearing those kinds of things, those deep baseball stories of the experience that you had with a parent or a sibling or a spouse or something that meant something, or just you got a gift that was really thoughtful from them. That
right. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear stories and a little happiness, a little thankfulness out there. So
yeah. Good. Well, I like it, and hopefully we'll get some good responses, and you'll have yours to share either on the interwebs or on next time's podcast.
Absolutely.
Any other interesting notes?
Yes. As you can see, we have our own dedicated Twitter account now, at Nats Talk on the Go. We need a logo.
Yes.
We don't have a logo for the show. If you subscribe on iTunes or anything like that, you see this goofy looking Nats headed thing
It's the Apple Podcast logo that our esteemed colleague will put a Nats cap on, because it was intended to be a place filler, and then like 4 years
105 episodes.
yeah,
later.
4 years later, it's still there. So
we need a logo. I know there are a lot of people out there that are very graphically gifted and talented. We would love to see some submissions, and I don't know. I know we haven't talked about whether we want to do like a vote or something like that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, so let's do this. If you have some submissions, send them to tweet them at us at Natstock on the go. If you would prefer to email them for any reason, email them to me, Joe at thenatsblog.com. And we will look through those. And as we start getting some submissions, hopefully we get some from people, we will talk about how we want to go through picking one, and going forward, whether we're going to do that in-house or get the people involved, which that's probably a good way to go about it. But
I would say so. But yeah, we would like a logo, and I can't even draw a person. I can draw stick figures.
Yeah. I could draw them very poorly.
Yeah. So my art comes in different ways. So if we are asking for some help, we would like to make this a little bit more of a professional operation, at least in terms of two things: a Twitter account and a logo.
Just appearances, not reality.
Just appearances. Nothing is going to change, except it might be a little bit easier to find us.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
kind of stuff. So
exactly.
So we can grow the listenership a little bit and get more of you crazies involved. So.
Which is what it's all about, which is what we love doing about it, is people. We only recently started doing the question piece out of it, and that's I think that's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I love, because people make me think differently, and it's cool. I like it.
Oh, because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I just
clearly
make stuff up and say things. So we appreciate y'all, and I just want to be clear. I did just say you all, not y'all.
Wow.
So we'll be done with this episode of Nats Talk on the Go, unless you have anything else.
I don't have anything else. I would hope that we're going to be back for something before Christmas.
Hopefully, because there's news to report, but if not, we'll talk to you in the new year.
Yeah, so hopefully there'll be some news breaking in the next couple of weeks, and we can bang out an episode sometime before Christmas. But if not, we'll talk to you in 2016.
Yeah. Well, if we do not talk to you before the new year, Happy New Year and Happy Holidays to you and all of your family. We hope that you have a good time, stay safe, and we will talk to you next time.